A friend once showed me her credit card statement, embarrassed by how small the purchases were. "It's nothing crazy," she said. "Just coffee, takeout, little things." But when we added them up, those little things totaled over $400 a month. She was shocked. "That's a car payment," I told her. "That's money that could be building your future." She had fallen into the most common spending trap, the one where purchases never feel dangerous in the moment, but quietly keep people poor over time. Have you ever bought something that felt completely reasonable in the moment, but later wondered why your bank account never seems to grow? Maybe it was a quick online purchase, a small upgrade, or something convenient that made life easier for a moment. Individually, these purchases rarely feel like a problem. They're small, affordable, justified. But when repeated often enough, they create one of the most powerful financial traps in modern life. A habit so common that millions of people don't even realize they're doing it. The habit is this: spending to reward yourself after every effort. It sounds harmless. In fact, it feels natural. You worked hard this week, you deserve something nice. You had a stressful day, you deserve a treat. You finished a big project, you should celebrate. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your money, but the problem appears when rewards become automatic, when every moment of effort leads to spending. Because over time, these rewards become expensive. Let's look at how this habit works. Imagine someone finishes a long workday and decides to order takeout. Instead of cooking, maybe $20. Not a big deal. The next day, they grab coffee and breakfast on the way to work, another $10. Later that week, they buy something small online, maybe $30. None of these purchases feel dramatic, but if this pattern repeats every day, the numbers add up quickly. $30 per day equals $210 per week. Over a year, that's nearly $11,000. And that's just small rewards. Now imagine investing that same amount instead. $11,000 invested annually with an average return of 8% could grow to over $1 million in 30 years. The same money, two completely different outcomes. Let me give you another example. Suppose someone buys a $5 latte every workday. That's $25 per week, $1,300 per year. Over 30 years, invested at 7%, that habit costs over $130,000 in foregone wealth, not because the latte is evil, but because the habit is automatic. Now add in takeout lunches, impulse online purchases, and convenience fees. The total becomes staggering. Most people never do this math because each purchase feels tiny. But tiny purchases, repeated thousands of times, become enormous sums. This doesn't mean you should eliminate every small pleasure. The goal isn't deprivation, it's awareness. Because constant self-reward creates a hidden problem. It trains your brain to associate effort with spending. Work becomes the reason to buy things instead of the reason to build wealth. This habit creates a cycle. You work hard, spend to reward yourself, savings don't grow, financial stress appears, you work harder, and the cycle continues. The psychology behind spending rewards is powerful. Your brain releases dopamine when you anticipate or receive a reward, the same chemical that motivates behavior. So when you repeatedly reward effort with spending, your brain begins expecting it. Effort becomes linked to consumption. Over time, you need more rewards to feel the same satisfaction, a phenomenon called hedonic adaptation. A coffee no longer feels like a treat, so you add a pastry. Then lunch out becomes the reward. Then a new gadget. Spending escalates, but the satisfaction doesn't last. Breaking this pattern requires creating new rewards. For example, imagine replacing spending rewards with progress rewards. Instead of ordering takeout after a stressful day, you transfer $20 into your investment account. Instead of buying something impulsively online, you increase your savings goal. At first, this may feel unusual, but over time, your brain begins associating progress with satisfaction. Watching your financial life improve becomes rewarding. Now let's talk about how wealthy people approach this differently. They still reward themselves, but they do it intentionally. Instead of constant rewards, they create meaningful ones. For example, they might celebrate milestones instead of daily effort, reaching a savings goal, completing a major project, achieving a personal milestone. These rewards feel more meaningful and far less expensive. Another difference is that many financially successful people shift their reward system entirely. Instead of rewarding themselves with spending, they reward themselves with progress, watching investments grow, seeing savings increase, reaching financial milestones. These achievements produce a different kind of satisfaction, one that lasts much longer than a purchase. A study on happiness found that experiences and achievements produce more lasting fulfillment than material goods. Watching your net worth climb month after month triggers a sense of security and pride that a new phone simply cannot match. Modern life makes spending extremely easy. Online shopping, one-click purchases, delivery apps, subscriptions. These conveniences are designed to reduce friction. And when spending becomes effortless, habits form quickly. But wealth building requires doing the opposite, creating friction around spending and removing friction around saving and investing. For example, automatic investments, separate savings accounts, budget systems that track spending. These structures protect your financial progress, make good decisions easier, and impulsive spending slightly harder. Consider the difference between clicking Buy Now on Amazon and having to walk to a store, find cash, and physically hand it over. The extra steps make you pause. That pause is where good decisions live. So create your own friction. Unlink one-click payment methods, remove saved credit cards from shopping sites, or add items to a wish list with a 48-hour waiting period. Another helpful strategy is the 24-hour rule. Before making non-essential purchases, wait 24 hours. Often the urge disappears. What felt necessary yesterday feels optional today. This pause prevents many impulsive decisions. For larger purchases, extend the wait to a week or a month. You'll often find you didn't want the item as much as you thought. Now imagine two people earning the same income. Person A rewards themselves with small purchases almost every day. Person B rewards themselves occasionally but invests consistently. 10 years later, their financial lives look completely different. Not because one person earned more, but because one person redirected small rewards toward long-term growth. Repeat that difference for 20 or 30 years, and the gap becomes enormous because small decisions compound just like investments. Let's put numbers to that gap. Person A spends $400 per month on small rewards, coffee, takeout, impulse buys. Person B cuts that to $150 per month and invests the other $250. After 25 years at 7% return, Person B has an extra $190,000. That's a house down payment, a comfortable retirement cushion, or years of financial breathing room. Person A has memories of lattes and takeout. That's not a judgment, it's just math. Spending to reward yourself isn't inherently wrong. But when it becomes automatic, it prevents wealth from forming. The solution isn't eliminating enjoyment, it's shifting your reward system. Celebrate progress, celebrate milestones, celebrate financial growth, because the most powerful reward isn't a purchase, it's freedom. Freedom from financial stress, from living paycheck to paycheck, from choosing how you spend your time. And that freedom often begins by changing one simple habit. Stop rewarding every effort with spending, start rewarding progress with investment. Over time, that small shift transforms how your money behaves. Instead of disappearing through small purchases, it begins building something much more valuable, your future. If you recognize this habit in your own life, don't feel ashamed. Most people do. Start small. Pick one automatic reward, maybe the daily coffee or the weekly takeout, and redirect that amount to your investment account for 1 month. See how it feels. You might be surprised to find that watching your savings grow becomes its own reward, and once that new habit takes hold, the old one loses its power. That's how you break the cycle. Not through deprivation, but through replacement. One small shift at a time. Thank you for watching. If this changed how you think about small purchases, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one. And I'll see you there.